Thanks to Graham Stepan, Andre Cheek, and Cascades Academy, people are saying that my company Evergrande is responsible for the collapse of China. And to that I say pigwash. If I'm responsible for the collapse of China, then the tech lead is responsible for men not wanting to get married. Hello, my name is Xu Jiayin, and it starts with me buying land from the Chinese government to build my apartment complexes. I build the complexes and then I sell each individual apartment to each person. Each of the buildings can have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 families. Now, there is a custom in China where people prepay for their homes, meaning they give up an initial deposit and they send us monthly payments for apartments that are not yet built. Why would they do this? Why? Well, it is because house prices are always increasing. So if they wait until the apartments are completed, the price would be a lot higher. So the overall business is that we pay the government money to buy their land. Then we pre-sale apartments to people, and then we use the money to buy their homes. Then we give the homes to people when it is done, and we take the profit to buy more land from the government. That is the standard way property developers work in China. It is also a dumb way to grow a property development company in China. To be like Evergrande, you have to think differently. You have to think of what the limiting resources are and how you can get more of it. In this case, the limiting resource is not the customers. No. And it is definitely not the buildings. You can build the buildings anytime you want. The limiting resource here is the land. You have to buy the land first before you can sell it because people want to know where they are living, and different areas have different prices. And unlike stupid people, land don't grow over time. Once it is sold, then it is gone. So you have to buy land when it comes out, or else your competitors will buy them. So, what is the best way to buy more land? The best way to buy more land is to sell more apartments. When you sell more apartments, you can get more money, which you can use as collateral to get a loan from the bank to buy more land to sell to more people. This is how you become successful in business. You minimize any unnecessary activities that doesn't make money. In this model, making homes is secondary. You don't make money by making homes. You make money by selling homes. In this case, you don't need to make the homes before you sell them. So sell all the apartments first and then make the homes later. No one is going to give up their homes even if the project is delayed because they have already invested so much money into it. Now that you understand how the business works, I hope you can understand that everything that I have done is just business. I have often heard people say, don't trust Chinese people. But realistically, when it comes to tearing people off, white people are 10 times worse. Bernie Madoff stole $65 billion from old people and caused the Great Recession. When the Chinese people tear you off, you know right away and you stay away from them. When white people tear you off, you thank them and you give them more money. I might have sold some bad wealth management products and borrowed more money than I can pay off. But all of them knew the risks when they invested. As for the homes, I just have some money problems. But I fully intend to build all the apartments that I promised. I have a plan, and it'll just take some time. We are not as bad as the Lehman Brothers. Now, let's talk about who's to blame for the collapse of China. Well, obviously, it is the government of China. They sold us the land. They created an environment where companies had to compete to buy the land. Once we saw how much money we could make by buying the land, we became addicted. They are like drug dealers, and we are like drug addicts, willing to borrow and steal anything to get some land. So while everyone thinks it's our fault, it is actually the Chinese Communist Party's fault. They control the land, and they control the banks. They literally control how much money we can borrow and how much land we can buy. But now that we have trouble paying the debt, they come in with the 3 red lines in 2020 and force us into bankruptcy. And guess what? The companies who will go bankrupt will be taken over by the Chinese Communist Party. You are saying that we caused the collapse of China's economy? Think again. They are purposefully crashing their economy and hurting millions of people just so they can take over the real estate market for cheap. The CCP is like Scar in The Lion King. They look evil, they do shady deals behind people's back, and they are willing to kill family members for power.
I killed Mufasa.
Now, let's see what's been going on in China since the fall of Evergrande. Since August 2011, China is still continuing with its strict COVID lockdowns. Protests broke out as over 400,000 bank accounts were frozen, and hundreds of thousands of people are boycotting mortgage payments for delayed or unfinished homes. So it seems to me that China is collapsing very well even without Evergrande's help. As for the boycotting mortgage payments, it seems like a lot of people want to kill me. But let me tell you, that is not a good idea. No. If I die, who is going to build your houses? If you are thinking about taking all of my money, any money that I have would go to the banks and the investors before they go back to the Chinese people. Therefore, the best option for everyone is to wait for me to slowly build people's homes and resolve my debt. I have a plan to restructure my debt and make everyone happy. Please be patient. Now, let's talk about the most important matter. Is China going to collapse? The answer is, it depends. It depends on your definition of collapse. If you are using the YouTube clickbait definition, then yes, China is already and will collapse in exactly 34 days from August 9th. If you are using the dictionary definition of to break down completely, then no, China won't collapse. There is absolutely zero chance, right? Zero chance China's economy will crumble into nothingness. China is the second largest economy with over $12 trillion in GDP. The third largest economy is Japan with over $4 trillion GDP. A year from now and 3 years from now, China will still be the second largest economy. I will bet anyone $1 billion, $1 billion, that China will still be the second greatest country by the end of the year. 2008 was much worse for America, and they still got out of it. All they needed to do was to print a lot of money. China will do the same thing. White People News says that China likely won't bail out Evergrande directly unless there's far-reaching contagion. Well, guess what? There are far-reaching contagions spreading to a lot of property developers. Only 35% of boycotters are for Evergrande homes. The other 65% are for the other developers because we all do the same thing. China will definitely step in if it gets too bad. Sure, there will be businesses going bankrupt, and maybe millions of people will lose their jobs. But China has 1.4 billion people. It can survive all of that. These clickbait titles are no bueno, no bueno. Thank you everyone for listening to me. And remember, if I die, no one gets their houses.